So now I'm going to show you something that's really cool. This is the thing that I wrote the blog about that I said it had me doing cartwheels.
Okay.
This is a laser sew straight guide that is exclusive to these machines. Nobody else has it.
That's
We're
right.
talking totally industry first, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So how I'm using it, well, you know how when people sew long strips together, how you kind of wobble a little
Sure,
bit?
because they're just trying to line up with just the front of the foot.
Well, the way I used to do it, got the 1/4 inch guide there, and where is my straight stitch foot? Straight stitch foot. Okay, so the way I used to do it is I would have the 1/4 inch thing there.
Sure.
I'd be using my straight stitch foot
Right.
because it has the various measurements on it for the 1/4 and the
Right,
1/8 and
right.
all of that.
But then
I
you just have this little spot to line up with. You don't have
Exactly.
anything longer.
Exactly. That's where I was aiming for.
Okay.
Or that little place on the foot.
Sure.
But now with the lacer, I think it just became a whole lot simpler. And I'll show you how this works. All I have to do is activate it, and look at the line. Look how nice and bright it is. I'm
Okay.
really.
I like how long it is because you have a much longer area to line up with.
That's true. See, you think of all the important stuff. So the first thing I have to think about is where do I want to line it up?
Okay.
For piecing. Now for piecing, there's that whole 1/4 inch thing.
Right.
And
Well,
you'll-
and scant 1/4 inch, I'm told.
Well, some
Some
people will
people.
fight you to the mat on
Okay,
that.
we're good.
I kind of like a scant 1/4 inch, but what I call it is a pressed quarter.
Okay.
So in other words, after I've done my sewing, I want to make sure that my pieces are accurate.
Okay.
So if I don't, if I have too deep or too narrow a seam allowance, that isn't going to work. So some of that depends on how well you press. Some of that depends on how well you sew. But I think this is going to be easier. So I'm thinking that 250 millimeters is an inch.
Okay.
60 millimeters should give me the perfect pressed quarter,
Okay.
in theory.
Right.
So I tested it out.
All right.
What I did was I set the lacer. The lacer comes on at 3.5.
Right.
I moved it over to 9.5.
Okay.
Oops, 9.5. I overshot it.
That's
now,
all
if the
right.
laser's at 9.5 and my needle position is in 3.5, that means I've got that 6
Sure.
millimeter
the
difference, right?
Exactly. And then you know this is your realistic preview here on the screen that just shows you exactly what's going on.
I did not know that.
See, the red line is your laser guide line, and then
So
the
as
blue
I
line
move
is your
it-
stitching line, so you can see the reference between the two.
Okay, that's interesting. Another thing, though, if people can't get their quarter really well, they can go to the quilting program.
Correct.
You know, what I liked about the quilting program is you go there, you choose quilting 2, which is your right-hand position. You've got all sorts of positions there. So it defaults at 5.5 because it thinks that you're using the straight stitch foot. But you can keep, look how many positions I have there. I have 538, 525. I have, what, 7 positions between 4.5
Sure.
and 5.5 to get it right?
It's because you have 57 needle positions in the 7 millimeter opening. So the usual way is to go down up and down by 1/2 millimeter, and this one gives you many more increments than that.
Which means that you've got a better shot of getting your
That's right.
pressed quarter right.
Sure. And you get to what you want, you're going to put it into memory, and it'll always be the same spot that you want. You just touch memory in the middle, and then it'll be good to go.
Memory in the middle.
And then you touch close, and now every time you bring up that stitch, it's going to be in that exact same needle position that you just set it up at.
Cool.
And if you want to be certain of that, choose your memory pocket again, and now touch the word retrieve, and then you'll see it there on the top line.
I'm liking this.
Okay?
Okay. So I'm just going to line it up here with the light.
So you put the laser guide on this side of the fabric?
Yes, you want
Okay.
to run it just along there.
Sure.
And then I can start sewing. And then I usually kind of stop part way and smooth it down, but you want to keep it on the light. But see, I've got all this length to line it up with to make sure I'm sewing it correctly. I'm liking this very, very much.
See, and you use that for making your exact 1/4 inch seam allowance that you want. I use that moving the needle position in many different locations for like top stitching or for putting in zippers, because then I can move that over and get it exactly where I want.
That makes sense from the sewing side.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to use this little nifty thread cutter. I like that. And there we go.
Awesome.
Looks good, huh?